Push Effect Podcast in full effect. I got my very good friend here, D Hood, in the building.
Sure.
My guy came all the way down from New Jersey to come fuck with me, so this is a pleasure to have him, and we're just gonna have fun today, guys. This is one of my it's one of the guys I met down in Florida. We had a session called The Gauntlet.
Yeah.
And we didn't really interact as much, right? Until like the very end.
Yeah, like the last day.
We didn't really interact till I had got on the mic, and I'm gonna back it up. The actual Gauntlet was just like a whole group of just artists and producers just in one place,
right?
And just creating, and they created some great stuff down there. They shot a music video. They got like hundreds of songs done.
Right.
They dropped the album, so that was fun.
That session, yeah. We only did I think we did 13 songs on that album. There's so many songs, and then there's when I be going through my phone and stuff, so I'm at a point where I don't really write anymore. Like a lot of my stuff be coming off the top. So I'll be going through my phone just for inspiration. I'm like, damn, what happened to that song? What happened to that song? And it all be from those 3 days.
Right.
And then I probably have 25, 40. I mean, I don't know if you remember, I was jumping on everybody's shit. I was giving niggas verses left and right.
I was doing the interview, so I wasn't even freaking in the mix like that. So I was doing the interviews down there. So I didn't know you was on every. So you were let's see, what's his name? What's the dark skinned dude?
Oh, Buddy.
Right. From everybody, just hopping on everybody's songs and stuff like that, because that's how you do it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I was giving niggas hooks.
Yeah,
I was at that point. So now, you know what I mean? Niggas got me writing for people now.
Right.
So I was giving niggas little. You know what I mean? Even Abe, he had a bar that was
arm, head, arm, leg.
Yeah, I gave him that.
Yeah.
And then I gave him, what's the other one? The bar was originally She Made Me Breakfast. That shit excites me. And I was like, nah, bro, say that shit was spicy.
What?
Yeah, he was like, so
of course,
She Made Me Breakfast. That shit was spicy.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying that I wrote for Abe or nothing like that, but so now at this point, that's kind of transcended. I'm super thankful for having that, having that interaction, because now totally made me a super better artist. So much so even seeing these dudes making beats like Chris and and Grizz and shit, making beats and stuff, Mystics. I've started making beats myself, and I've gotten pretty good. And I told you earlier, today is a year to the day that I started making beats. You heard my beats earlier,
right?
I don't got no Cassidy beats,
right? No. You did have some good beats though.
Yeah,
you did have some. You had some fire beats when you the one, especially the one that you showed me for Abe.
Yeah,
so I could hear. How'd you just made that and it was just I can hear Abe on this. How'd you create that one?
Well, so I wanted to come here and get with you guys. For a while now, I check in on you, I buy pay-per-views and shit, I fuck with you, I recognize good energy when I see it,
right?
So I've been wanting to come down here and touch down on your show anyway, and I think that was the first time I hit you, and I was like, yo, I might have some dates coming up where I'm free, I just take off for work, I don't care, and I started making a beat, and I was like, oh, Abe, slide on here, yeah, and it was just an 8-bar loop. And then I ended up structuring the whole thing out, and I was like, bro. And then the funny thing is, I was like, yeah, I made this shit for Abe, mad low key. I put that shit on. Abe started moving, I'm like, oh yeah,
this is for him.
Yeah,
I'm ready to see what y'all gonna do with that. So what kind of process do you have when you beat making and stuff like that?
Usually, so I'm still in the. I'm not gonna say that I'm in the rookie stages, but I'm in the lower intermediate stages. So now I'm at the point where I'm making my own instrumentation, dabbling in different sounds and trying to put different sounds together, but I'm still very pretty sample centric. The one beat I showed you where the song is actually out. It's called Cherie. It samples My Cherie More by Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
So and a lot of people hear it and they're like, oh, that's Mulan. That sound nah, bro. I just played that joint in. You know what I mean?
You just sampled that in.
Yeah, sampled that, but I didn't sample it in sequence. I just this part put that here, this part put that. You know what I mean? I just kind of played it out, and it made it gave a almost like a cherry blossom kind of flute sound. So I'm at the point where I like I said, I'm very sample centric. I'm getting to the point where I'm able to play certain things out. I'm learning bass right now. I'm learning the keyboard right now. So I'm being able to play actual music instead of relying on samples. But it's super cool. I'm learning that you you can take a sample and then just like it'll never sound like that one piece because you can chop it, you can you know what I mean, slow it down, you can pitch it up, you can do. There's so many different things that you can do with samples that you would never even know that was what that is.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. And from this point, like I said, like I've been focusing so much on making beats. It gives me a kind of like an inside look on how just like music is made. Like now I've really got to pay attention to like to the engineering side of things. Mm-hmm. So like just to make sure, you know, like kicks sound proper, you know, your hi-hats aren't, you know, just like your 808s aren't super bleeding into other instruments, stuff like that. And now it's kind of lessen the load on me writing. Mm-hmm. Like for the most part, I pretty much like punch in. I'll do like I'll freestyle 4 bars and see if I like it. All right, cool. Let me come up with like another bar after that. Mm-hmm. Then I punch in that 1 bar, boom, stop. Slide it back a little bit, record, do 1 more bar, do 2 more bars, like something like that. And then before I know it, I got a whole entire song like just done off the top. And I've done like quite a few songs since the last time we saw each other.
Right.
Like a lot of my new stuff.
That was a year ago, right?
Damn, that was a year ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that was a year ago. January 2020.
2020. That's when it was. I thought it was like Christmas time or something like that.
Yeah, no, it was like right after Christmas. Cause I think I got down there before everybody, like January 3rd. Mm-hmm. It was like the 3rd through like the 7th.
Dang. So you've been there. So you was there before we got there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Dang, I didn't even know that. I thought everybody got down there the same day. Mm-mm. Okay.
Yeah, because the first day that we were there, it was me, Grizz, Skycamp, this dude Q, Qadir, fuck Q, trying to think who else, Murphy. It was us 5, and then Tyler, Trey, Chris, and I want to say Abe was there.
No. Abe did ride down there. I had to fly down there.
Okay,
I flew down there. Okay.
Yeah, so I want to say Abe was there because we did In My Bag like that first day before anybody got down.
Yeah. Oh, talk about In My Bag. How did that even come about?
I don't know. Bro.
Who had the beat? Who made the beat?
They made the beat on the spot. I want to say Grizz and Chris. That was like Grizz and Chris with the dreads, Chris with the locks. Not Chris Graves. I forget what
the one that was rapping.
Nah, the one that was he's a producer from I think from Raleigh. I think from North Carolina because I know Trey knew him. Light skinned dude, nose ring, locks.
Oh, that's not Trey. That's freaking
what's his
Brent.
name?
I can't even. Chris Brown.
Yes,
Chris Brown. I was like, I knew it was somebody. I can't think of.
So yes, I think Kim and Grizz started like kind of going back and forth, and I just knew like Q start. So first, all right, this how when I know some dope shit's about to happen, Grizz will be in there like everybody, you know, niggas get rowdy, we laughing, they get mad quiet, and then Grizz always be like, "Is all these machines on, but ain't no sound coming out," and then that's when we know we about to cook. So then somebody played down. I don't know who did what. Next thing you know, that we had at least like 16 bar loop that we was just like rapping over, just you know, like the track outs. And then everybody just kind of went in their corner.
Right. And just started getting to work.
Right. Yeah. And I'm in there. So this has been my problem my whole life. Like I was a badass kid in elementary school and shit. I'm super fucking smart. Mm-hmm. So like I get my work done before everybody and then I disrupt the classroom.
Because you got your work done.
Yeah.
I was the opposite. I freaking just disrupted class and didn't get shit done. I don't know why I did that.
Right, yeah. Nah, because at least if I'm going to get beat, I'm not going to get beat for not having my work done too, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
So I had like my first 8 bars written and then I was like, it's 8. You know what I mean? I can do 8 bars. I had my first 8 bars written and everybody's still putting their shit together, rapping it to each other, and I'm just doing the most, like that. I don't know, like not never commenting on like what you like as an artist, but like just saying stupid stuff, like making people uncomfortable. I like to see how people react when they're uncomfortable because like, you get their true nature. Like, are you a good person or are you like over the top or so like I'm using humor to make people uncomfortable, and then I don't know, like
where's fuck you from?
He's from Jersey too. He's from North Jersey.
Okay, so that made me. I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, my name's fuck you." I thought he was fucking with me. I was like that. I was like, I would try to correlate what you did with what you're saying with how his name is, right?
Yeah. So the first time I met him, I was about to slide on Buddy. Like,
you was about to fight. Fuck you, bro.
Yeah. So it's my first time ever being around Sky Camp and his, old, business partner or whatever. They invited me to come do a show, like open up for this band or whatever, at an art gallery. So it was three of us. So it was me, this kid Q. Well, fuck you, and his name is spelled Fuhq. So me, fuck you, and this kid Drew. So I walk in, mind you, I'm there by I show up everywhere by myself, like, right. And they invited me up, drove up there, went straight from work. I still basically had like my work clothes on, like I just threw some sneakers on and like a t-shirt, and pulled up. They're introducing me to everybody, and I was like, oh, like, what's good? I'm D Hood, like I'm D Hood. And then he was like, fuck you, and I was like, what, bro? Like, do you know who I am, bro? Like, and then they're like, no, like that's his name. I was like, all right, like my name is, know what I mean?
He just said, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like some shit like that.
Yeah, like I don't know if you like, I don't know who you are. Like, right. I don't, you know what I mean? Right. But me and him is like, we've forged a well beyond like phenomenal relationship like that. Like that's my guy.
Right.
So much so I'm performing in Brooklyn on actually this coming Monday, May 3rd, and he's coming up to perform some songs at me.
Oh wow, where you performing at?
It's called Easy Bar in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what's it looking like?
It's indoor outdoor drawing. They have a whole bunch of vendors, like people who make soaps, like food trucks, like all this stuff. And I'm co-headlining the event.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, like,
that is freaking dope. How'd you come about that?
This girl DM'd me on Facebook, and she was like, hey, like I work with I forget what the magazine is called. That's kind of trash. She was like, yeah, I work with this magazine, and your boy Kevin Snowden, recommended you, said like, you're the baddest motherfucker to perform in South Jersey. Like a lot of people, know that about me. Like I make good music, but like my performances are like, that's my bread and butter.
Right.
And, so she was like, yeah, so, you got the recommendation. So like, do you want to do 45 minutes? And I was like, damn, you came at the right time. Cause I just started getting back in shape. Like, right. Yeah, like this quarantine 25 kind of took your boy out.
Right.
So, yeah, so she just basically, she told me 45 minutes. I was like, damn, that's a lot of songs.
45 minutes?
45 minutes, yeah.
Sheesh.
And I mean, I don't know if he was paying attention, but I put out 4 projects of my own in 2020. And then I got a Song on Q's project. I got the whole Gauntlet. I'm all over the Gauntlet album. I'm trying to think what else is. I did a lot of features in 2022. And I was kind of giving people beats. I was giving people beats once I felt like I was like good enough. So like I have a lot of material over 2020. So like 45 minutes is very good for me because there's a lot of material that I never performed before.
Right.
But
have you ever performed for 45 minutes?
I did a 30-minute set before.
30 minutes? Yeah, did it feel long?
It feels super long. Like, bro, this shit feels like a wrestling match.
I bet. I'm about to say, like, because the song, when you think of an average song, what do you think? 3 minutes, 4 minutes? You got to keep the crowd entertained and just keep them engaged and stuff like that.
My joint would be like the Underground Magazine. That's what Underground Magazine.
Okay. Shout out to Underground Magazine.
Yeah, Underground Magazine NYC, UNDRGRND Magazine, dot magazine on Instagram. So yeah, I guess she runs it. Her name's Angie on Instagram. She Angie Burgers, and she hit me and was like, yeah, Snowden said that you got it. I'm assuming she had to go through my Instagram. So
right.
And like the funny thing is like I'm pretty sure the only performance that I have on there is me like performing for my kids at work.
Right.
So
wait, because you're a teacher, right?
Nah, I'm a dean at a school.
You're a dean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're whoa, no way.
Yeah.
Wait, is it for real?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wait. So okay. All right, we're gonna back this up. Okay. Can you talk about what school you're at and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Global Leadership Academy Southwest.
Okay.
Southwest in West Philly. Right, like if you ever seen the Summertime music video by Will Smith and like Jazzy Jeff, like right down the street from there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I mean, like Will Smith's neighborhood and shit. Like that same. What? Yeah. That same. Yeah. And that's I'm pretty much in jest. It's within the half mile of like where Buddy grew up at.
Wow. So, yeah. Dang, bruh. Wait. Okay. So being a dean, how'd you even? Okay, how do you even become a dean a dean at a school?
Bro,
wait, this is a charter school or public school? Charter?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so it is a little bit different than a public school, like where a public school is kind of like you gotta have your degree and shit like that. So like so when I was in college, I graduated from York College of Pennsylvania. It's like 45 minutes north of Baltimore,
right?
And like south of Harrisburg. And went to York College of Pennsylvania, graduated with my degree in criminal justice and sociology. I worked in law enforcement for a little bit. I was juvenile probation officer, whoop-de-whoop. I ended up working at a detention center. And at the detention center, I was like, damn, like, there's like, I have like I don't know, like, I think my way with people and how I carry myself, like, it's kind of like rub off on people, good or bad. Like, people, but regardless if it's good or it's bad, people walk away with something. And I always try and make it positive, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, like I don't want to say like, oh, I'm out here changing lives, but like it be, you know what I mean? Like kids that be, locked up with me, well, where I worked at, and they were like, oh yeah, when I was on my home visit, I saw such and such, and they told me to tell you, they don't smoke weed no more. They're not getting in trouble. Like just like stuff like that. So then I was like, damn. So I went from working with adults who kind of like pissed their life away, and then teenagers that was like
on the verge of that.
Yeah, like literally probably like one more thing.
Yeah.
You pissing your life away.
Right.
Very few kids on my caseload when I was a probation officer were like kids that was like kind of like, oh, you just need that little deterrent. Like a lot of them was like you kind of who you are for the rest of your life type shit. And not to say that nobody can change, but you know how hard it is when you're impressionable and everybody in your environment is
just like that.
Exactly. So, and then like take a step down, I work at a detention center. Was kind of like you get a chance. Is like the detention center I worked at wasn't like, oh, like you locked up all day. This is not like we used to take kids on canoeing trips. Like you got good behavior, like we take you out the building. Like there's so many trips. I took kids to Hershey Park and to the zoo and all kinds of shit just to, because like the odds of you being successful as an inner city kid, doesn't matter what your color is, the odds of you being successful if you travel a mile away from your city block, like it skyrockets, right?
Right.
So we used to do like a lot of trips and shit like that, just to like open their eyes that like the world is bigger than like the cats, raccoons, and rats that you see on the street. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a whole world out there. So from there, I was like, damn, like I really think that I would do a good job at like working in education, because that would be like I could start at the before they even get into the BS. My ex at the time, her and I were together for a long time. She's a teacher. She worked at a school, and her principal was like, oh, we're looking for somebody to do a club. So all right, boom, let's do music. Let's do a music club. Long story short, we ended up doing a music and poetry club, and through luck, not really luck, nobody wanted these kids in their after school program. They gave us like the tough and tumble, kids, and just through interaction, like I would get them little performances at like libraries and, on the college campus and stuff. And they would start to feel it. If they got in trouble with school, like, bro, you lost your solo this week. So this person is doing your solo, and better luck next week.
Right.
The school started to see that they weren't really getting in trouble that much anymore. So the principal of the school was like, yo, I don't care what I got to pay you. Like, whatever you doing with him, and him, I need that for
everybody.
Exactly. So he hired me, put me in. I was in one classroom, a fourth grade classroom. I was a co-teacher in there. And then me and my ex decided that, well, my fiance at the time, that we were going to move to Philly. She's from Philly. I'm from South Jersey. So we'll both be basically back with family. And he was like, all right, like if I can't stop both of y'all from going, let me put you on good hands when y'all go back to Philly. Mm-hmm. So he hooked us up with the CEO of my school now, Dr. Booker. And it kind of like the rest is history. Like she put me in a position to be able to work with people who look like us, and to have a direct impact on like our community. And like I'm at a level of fortune, because like I learn stuff from the kids every single day. Like I learn stuff about myself, and I've become a better person, like learning through just like different people's stripes and like making connections with people, just like kind of like the kids around me. And I'll be traveling the world with them. Like right. I went to Canada my first year with 7th and 8th grade. Last year before COVID, we raised a bunch of money so we could take 8th grade to the Bahamas. It ended up not happening, but Yeah, like I'm out there drawing rocking out.
How is the kids been so impressionable on you as much as you've been on them?
A lot of it is like I know a lot about myself now, looking or just like being around certain kids. Like not even like on some like old head, like, oh, you know what I see a lot of myself in that. It's not that. Like I really as if like this one kid, Steven, he was in first grade my first year. Super, all of my kids are black. Like,
what?
Yeah, like I have a first grader who's Bengali, a first grader who's white. There's 4 Dominican kids at my school who are brother, sister, and their cousins. And everybody else is, like, I have the most diverse academy in my school because I'm in charge of K through 2. So it's K through 2, 3 through 5, and then 6 through 8.
Okay.
So yeah, like, everybody at my school is black, even like administration, teachers for the most part. You know, the education team's a lot more diverse. You know, we have white teachers, Hispanic teachers, X, Y, and Z. But so this scholar Steven, we don't call kids students, or we don't call them kids. We call them scholars.
Okay.
A scholar is somebody who wants to learn. A teacher is somebody. A student is somebody who has to learn.
Right.
He comes into my office and he was like, Mr. Hood, you don't really, you don't look that great. And I was like, I'm feeling like a 6 today. Cause I was always ask kids, like, how do you feel on a scale from 1 to 10? I was like, I'm feeling like a 6 today. I'm kind of tired. And he was like, all right, don't give up. Like, don't, you know what? Come here. Let me give you a pat on your back. Like, stand up. And I'm like, Dag, like, we think first grade, you know, when we was growing up, your parents probably told you, like, be seen and not heard. Like, don't ask for nothing when you like, not validating your voice. And like, that's how I was raised. And that's how like so many people in our generation was raised. But this 6-year-old is using stress relief techniques on a grown man that I've taught to him. Like he has the capability to be able to retain all of this, you know, all of these. And these are things that he can take home with his parents. And, you know, and there's a lot of different levels of trauma that go on at home. But these are things that he can use for himself. He can remind his parents of these things. And then in turn, remind me in the morning. I ended up having a good day. So it's definitely made me a much better like people person.
Right.
And understanding like, damn, like it's not just like, you know, adults you should understand, like it's everybody should understand to a certain degree of like how to just kind of like cope and like how to just be a person in society pretty much.
I don't think we understand how like a little kid can be so impressionable on us type of thing. And they can teach us a lot more than what our environment or the people around us can. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're a kid, you don't even like, I try to like, even when in everything I do, I try to have like at least try to have a kid mindset and not like a logical adult mindset.
Right.
Because when you look at kids, they think anything it's just limitless.
Exactly. Like how many times have you ever been like, I don't know, like in Macy's or something, like, I don't know, Mariah Carey come on in the speaker, the kids jamming. Yeah. They don't give a fuck. They don't care, but they don't care who's looking at them. Right. Somebody looking at them like, why are you not dancing? Like, what is your problem? Not what is... And us, if I started dancing in the middle of Macy's, like, what is this nigga doing? Like,
oh my God, he's salsa. He's doing it. Oh. I joke on my mans all the time. I tell him he looks Puerto Rican, so he's fully black, by the way.
Bro, I can dance bachata though.
Yeah, I know you can. You just submerged around all this, like, bro, it's you, bro. Oh my God! And then when you show me your parents, I was like, oh man, he's definitely from another country, guys.
Now my mom is just like. She's just light. She's lighter than you.
Yeah.
And my dad, I get like his family. Well, my mom's dad. I told you my mom's dad is Haitian, and you're like, nah, that's a Cuban. I know a Cuban.
He's a Cuban. Oh my God.
Yeah, my dad's people, they just like black and from. I think my grandpa's Barbadian, but I mean, so like there's some island descent there. I did my 23andMe, and I'm 30% white, so that's fun.
Wow. Okay. Bet.
Right.
Bet. Yeah. So I want to get back to like the whole. Kids thing and you dealing with kids. And so do you believe that let's talk about mental health in like the youth and the younger generation. Do you think ADHD and certain things is as real? I know it's a real thing, but is it as real as as people like try to make it out to be?
Yeah. So there's a yes and a no. What demographic are we looking at? Black boys and girls. Well, black boys are far more likely, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but it's just like far more likely to be diagnosed as ADHD because they're seen as like rambunctious and like, not in my setting, right? Because we serve scholars who look like us,
right?
And our like number one goal is combating systemic racism, just through and through. So not even just with our kids, like we help our parents out. We help, we do a lot of things in the community, but ADHD is a real thing. Like
right.
It's definitely, there's a diagnosable, there's certain criteria that you would meet. There's no longer ADD and ADHD, it's all under ADHD.
Okay.
So there's definitely, you just don't wear it. So like, how can we really define something that you don't, it's not like Down syndrome where you carry physical features
right.
that allude to you having such, a diagnosis. But I mean, it's real, but is it, misdiagnosed often? Yeah, very much.
I just don't. When you think about how young kids are getting diagnosed with this type of stuff, and it's just like, all right, is this kid jumping out of his seat because he has ADHD, or is he just jumping out of his seat because he's freaking 5? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
or does he not feel heard?
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying from your perspective. Like, how can I know, do people come in there and just try to diagnose certain kids just by how they act, or how's that process even go being in the school system?
So I'm not like super rooted in that arena, but like I have to give input when it comes to like special education,
right.
Like what accommodations and modifications do these scholars get? So especially because I'm the person in charge of behavior. So especially when it comes to behavior, I'm that person. So, but yeah, there's like observations that are done. There's like usually a family observation, which usually like mom will come in with the kid like on a Saturday or something, and then the psychologist will meet with them, talk to both like what are they like at home, what is what like do they exhibit the same behavior as at school than they do. Like a lot of times it's just like I have kids that be like, my mom don't care, go call her, my mom don't care. So I'm gonna act the ass at school because my mom just does not care. Like, and then especially you see the parents that are like, I have a parent that's probably like in her late 40s and she got a first grader and she has like 7 kids. So the first grader, and my knowledge, the one above the first grader, like I think she's in 3rd or 4th grade now. I had her before and I was like, yo, when I had your sister, I know your mom did not play when it came to her. Your mom did. So she's like, I don't care, call my mom. So I called I put mom on speaker, think I got this girl dead to rights. Yo, mom, she over here doing X, Y, and she's saying you don't care. She was like, Mr. Hood, I don't. Like, this the youngest. Like, this the baby. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm tapped out. Like, I've done this 7 times before. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, is it right? Is it wrong? Who's to say? But it's reality. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like they do an observation with in their school environment. Just different levels of being in school, whether it's lunch, whether it's being in actual class, and they do one with the family. They take input from everyone who quote unquote touches that scholar every day. If you brush by their shoulder, your input is valid, and then they make their determination. But the good thing about if done with fidelity, there's benchmarks. So over time, you go to check on that scholar and you see where their progress so you don't just diagnose a kid, but okay, that's what they have. So that's what they have.
Right.
Give them meds. No, like you have to make accommodations. So let's say a kid who has ADHD, an accommodation could be, okay, well, we know that they bounce their knee. I'm a knee bouncer and I don't have ADHD. Mm-hmm. They're a knee bouncer, or they got to tap their pen and they got to do. So you could put something as small as putting an elastic band around the front of their, the front legs on their desk so they can kick the elastic band quietly while they sit and do their work. Mm-hmm. Or something as small as giving them a clipboard when they feel like they need to walk around. Like, oh, they're always out of the seat. Well, maybe do they do their work when they're out of their seat and they're roaming, or well, what are they doing? So if it's a kid who shows them want to do their work, but they can't sit in their seat all day, give them a clipboard. Like they're probably not going to bother anybody if they have that, and you can't. You know what I mean?
You think so? Like if a kid is walking around with a clipboard in their hand and they got other students around, you think the other students are be able to pay attention while this other students just like walking? Okay, say like 5 of them in one classroom, and they have 5 of them walking around with
the clipboard.
You know how like their short attention spans are. Type thing. They'll look at their work and look how they're walking around. They just bumped into each other type thing. How do you think that? Do you think that's like a variable to like think about?
Yeah, absolutely. But also something to combat it. You have to make it measurable.
Right.
So you can't just be like, hey, you have this clipboard and you can every surface you can touch the surface. No, like you have to be within So I've seen teachers like put tape around the desk. Like you can be anywhere within this this box. And if you need to stand, if you need to put your put your knee on the chair, if you need to, as long as it's safe, and it's like I said, as long as it's measurable. If you give a kid free reign, it's not like, okay, you can just walk around with this and leave it up to their interpretation. You didn't say you need to walk around. You can stay within this area and you can walk around with this. The kids are going to walk around with it with a clipboard. It's kind of like, remember the Amelia Bedelia books when we were kids? Like, that's really how kids work. And it just has to be measurable. And if you don't give them the explicit directions, and a lot of times what I found with kids who don't have that attention span, you have to break whatever they're fixated on, give them one direction. Break whatever they're fixated on again, give them the next direction. Because they're always able to put it together backwards, but a lot of times if you give it to them all at once, they can't. They might get the first two things. And then we're like, oh, like you didn't do this, and this. But but you said to do these. I did these things. So it's definitely a process. And it's kind of like Pavlov's dogs. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of Pavlov's dogs. No. So Pavlov, he was a psychologist, and he was talking. He was studying what's it called? Reinforcement.
Okay.
So reinforcement is pretty much when you give or take something given like a desired or undesired behavior. So if I want to, like when I was talking to Abe earlier about training his dog. So Abe says, oh, like she just like once I bring the food out to try and get her to do a trick, like she fixates on the food. The first thing you got to do is get her to sit first. She wants the food. So if she's jumping on you for it, you want her to sit, and then you give the food because that's the desired behavior. If she's jumping around, not paying attention, you don't just give her the food because that's the undesired behavior. She doesn't get rewarded for undesired behavior. Mm-hmm. So with Pavlov's dogs, this is a long time ago, so Peter, don't crucify me for this. He'd like drilled a hole into the side of dogs' cheeks, put like a straw there, and he would bring them like a meal and ring the bell. When they would see the food, they would start to salivate. Bring them the meal, ring the bell, they would start to salivate. Bring the food, ring the bell, start to salivate. Ring the bell, no food, they start to salivate because they associate that bell with the food that they're about to eat. Mm-hmm. And then he stopped doing it, started giving them the food over time. And then after about a week, he rung the bell again. And just without even having doing it for a while, they started salivating again. So they do remember.
Okay.
So it's the same thing when it comes to like rearing children. It's about repetition. It's about making it so if they do something the right way, it doesn't matter how many wrong things they do all day. Mm-hmm. The time that you catch them doing that right thing, you have to make it a super big deal. Give them whatever reward that you have set up in your classroom, or even like I have friends who have kids, and like some of my friends' kids, like give them hell. Like I don't know, like potty training, I can't do that. I can't. Like it's about positive or negative reinforcement. So like a lot of people think that positive reinforcement is that you get something good, and negative reinforcement is that you get something bad. Negative reinforcement can be positive. It's just like you're taking something away. Mm-hmm. So let's say you get an F on a progress report, and your parent is like, you're on punishment. You're like, you can't go outside. And then hey, mom, I brought this grade up. Negative reinforcement, okay, I'm taking away that punishment that you were on. I'm taking away these stringent confines that you had because I see that you're doing what you're supposed to do in school, and then you're getting something good out of it, right? So a lot of people think negative reinforcement, oh, like I got my ass beat. Like no, that's positive reinforcement because they gave you something,
right?
So it's all about just like reinforcing our kids and like reinforcing positivity into our kids, like radiating positivity in our kids, because there's a such thing as like generational trauma. Like I feel the trauma of my ancestors. Mm. Like there's a reason why little kids are. You could say you never say to a little kid anything about monsters, being afraid of the dark or whatever. They form these things in their heads because there's a theory that kids, back in back when we were used to be tree people, that like wolves would come snatch the kids out of the tree, or saber-toothed cats or whatever the predator was, would snatch kids out of the tree. So at nighttime, the kids were afraid of the dark because they didn't have an understanding. They would just see eyes, and next thing you know, their brother or sister is gone, right? So there's an idea that transcends down through generations, So
that fear?
That fear. Kids are afraid of the dark for what?
Oh, okay.
Like my sister raised her, my kids, my sister, my nephews don't know what the boogeyman is. Like they don't know what.
Right.
But my nephews, they need a nightlight. For what? Like they don't know. The ghost isn't real to them. Like none of that stuff is real to them. They need a nightlight. It's generational trauma.
Right. Okay. So all right. So can we, like as well? Let's talk about as people, like as a whole. Where are we at the state of our people, and does that trauma? Do you think that that trauma contributes to all of the state that we're in?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I'm not going to generalize, but I'm going to generalize. There's a distrust between people because from the time of I mean, like the most cliche things like 400 years ago, 400 years ago,
right?
These people did these things to these people, and regardless of what side you're on, you can say, like, "Oh, I don't care if you're white, black, blue, purple, green." Like you do care. Everybody cares. Like everybody cares. But yeah, there's a general, and there's too many parallels from the past to the present. Like as far as like police officers and slave catchers, what those badges even look like. They look similar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like so there's that generational. There's always like a remembrance of. Even like I read an article about sundown towns. I don't know if you know what that is.
Nah.
So sundown towns were places where basically like by the time like your black ass better be out of this town because it is what it is.
Right.
You know, so coming to find out that like where I grew up was a sundown town. And I grew up with the most diverse
in South Jersey.
Yeah, in South Jersey. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, so like Pomona, Pennsylvania, which is I was born in Atlantic City, I was raised in Egg Harbor City. Pomona is Egg Harbor City. Like it's kind of like I know y'all have sections down here of like, so you're like the whole overarching city is Charlotte, but there's like this pocket and that pocket. So like Pomona is Egg Harbor City, but it's just
like a pocket within the city.
Yeah, but like if you live there, your mailing address would be Egg Harbor City.
Okay.
Technically. So yeah, like Pomona was a sundown town. Galloway was a sundown town. Egg Harbor City wasn't, but like it can't be that close for for that not to be. So what would happen is if you're black and you're caught in that town after the sun comes down, like you get hung, like you get beat the shit out, like they like is or they just make an example out of you to remind you and everybody like you that you shouldn't come here anyway. But if you're going to be here, at least get out by the time the sun comes down because we don't want you here.
Right.
So there's still listed sundown towns and there's still places in America where these things continue to happen. Mm-hmm. But we're supposed to be making America great, right?
Right.
So like there's so many things that like throughout history that continue to transpire and continue to go on, and there's so many parallels from when our ancestors were our age to now that it's kind of like we just remember. Mm-hmm.
Just subconsciously remember certain things,
exactly.
Subconsciously remember certain pains and stuff like that, and I think it plays a big factor, but I don't know how far gone we are as people to where we could all come together and stuff like that. I don't know where we're at.
I think that, so, I mean, I'm pretty sure you see me say this before. I say it all the time, like, fuck equality.
Yeah.
It's about equity. Why, if you need 10 apples and I need 5, why will both of us get 5?
Right.
Like, if you get the 10 and I should get the 5, because I need 5. I don't need, so, like, equity is obviously giving everybody what they need. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm a socialist or anything like that, but, like, I do believe that once we get into a place where at least at minimum there's equity in the education system and kids can really be anything that they want to be, that's when we start seeing that unity, because then crime will start to come down. Because if there's resources in that community where kids have an outlet and they don't have to go chill with the homies, like, or they can chill with the homies less. Like I used to hang, like, I mean, I hopped off the porch when I was, you know what I mean? Like I've done my share of stupid shit. Like I've done my, not really like, I'm not going to say like life altering, but like everybody, I've done my dumb stuff. And thankfully, one, I grew up with my dad. Like my mom, my parents were, broken up or whatever, but like I grew up with my dad. And just statistically speaking, if you have as a black male, if you have a positive black role model, your likelihood for success is like so much higher. There's just like when education works in a community, for some reason, everything else works. But like when you look at taxes being poured into certain areas where the education is good, the taxes are probably higher. Therefore, the jobs are probably better. It's kind of like a snowball effect.
Right.
But when there's equity amongst the education system at like a base level, I think that's kind of the nucleus, and then everything else will thrive around it.
Mm-hmm. And so, do you think that has played a factor in like? Well, what's the difference between charter and public anyways?
So public, if you live there, you have to go there.
All right.
Basically, that's like if you live within a certain. Charters is usually like there's like a waiting list system. So we're a public charter, a catchment school. So if you live within a certain surrounding, you have to go to our school. So we're a public charter. But there's a such thing as private charters where they can just like turn kids down. Also, charter schools usually have a central idea. So like you might have like a STEM school that's like science, technology, like those things. Our school is a global learning school, so that's why, like I said, we went to Canada, or like my school's traveled to China at one point, Africa. They've been to Kenya, Bahamas a bunch of times. Like they travel all over the world because we're trying to provide cultivate future global leaders of the world. So if we want to cultivate global leaders, we got to expose them to the globe.
Okay,
right?
That makes sense. And how about sports?
Oh yeah, our school is kind of buns for real.
You gonna be the coach? You the coach and the coach?
I'm the coach of the flag football team.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
You play football in school?
Yeah.
Okay, facts.
Yeah, I played football. I played football like my entire life.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay, facts. And you told me you were boxing. Your family was into the whole boxing thing.
Yeah,
what do you think about this Logan Paul freaking Mayweather thing?
Get your bag, I guess. Like. It's just I feel like to Floyd, like it's a lose-lose. But so the thing about Floyd is he has this like undying need to stay relevant.
Right.
Like even so much
Fame.
so like yeah, like
fame is a drug.
Yeah, like he has this need to stay relevant, and like so much so like I guess no press is bad press, I guess. So like what would I look like run Pacquiao back? You know what I mean? Just like something like
right.
Dude, I don't know, like mix it, like fight another mixed martial artist or something, like run it back with Conor, just anything but that, because then you make a mockery of the sport,
and then because it's just like you got these dudes. I don't knock anybody that gets to the ring. I can respect,
right? Because
it's hard to train and it's hard to get in there to fight in front of a lot of people for a long time.
Right,
2 minutes is a long time to be fighting. So imagine fighting 2 minutes 12 times. It's hard. It's hard. So it's just like I respect anybody, but just for somebody to get in there, just to talk their way in there, it's just like
and I mean it's just like I don't respect home. I respect Floyd Mayweather obviously, but I don't respect the other dude.
His brother can fight though.
His brother can move. I've seen him wrestle too. Like I've seen him like just videos of him rolling with people and stuff like. He's a fluid. He has the brain to be able to be in combat sports.
Yeah, he's not no freaking slouch at all. And I've seen him boxing. Did you see the last fight by him? Yeah, he knocked Ben Askren ass out.
But the thing, but you saw me say like I never felt like Ben
Askren's not a boxer.
I've said it to my friends. There are women's strawweights. I couldn't hold a jockstrap. There's professional, like worst fighter in the UFC, I wouldn't be able. I truly believe that I would be able to knock Ben Askren the fuck out.
Right. I mean, like it's the freaking. It's. I mean, well, you just. It's the fighting game, so anybody can have a puncher's chance and stuff like that. But
it's also Ben Askren is not a striker.
He's not a striker at all.
Like at all.
Yeah. But Jake Paul can fight.
He can
fight. So I'm ready to see what he's gonna do next. If they give him like a real fighter, then I'll be impressed. Because they keep giving him like these scrubs, these YouTube people, and Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson's, first of all, he's too small. He was too small, and he didn't have no technique. And then that's where I think a lot of the time where people think the fight game is getting sweet, because people think they can just hit pass for 6 months and think they ready to jump in a cage or jump in a ring. And like, this is not a game at all. Like, you can lose your life with this shit. Like, wrong hit, you can lose your life, and people think it's a game. People think, oh, I can just jump in there and do this. Like, no. Like I'm gonna just speak about my last opponent. Like a lot. You get finished in that amount of time because people like me, we really do this.
Yeah,
we really do this.
Exactly.
You're not just gonna come in here and think you about to do something or to look cool and do stuff like that and come in here and think you about to do something, like, no, you're going to get finished in a minute.
Exactly.
It won't last long.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it now if you would have last 4 minutes, like, okay, you probably been training a little bit. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like really what you put into it.
Yeah.
Bro, that's why I've never tried my hand in nothing professional or nothing like that. Like I've never, I wrestled, not professional, but like I
wrestled in high school.
Yeah. Like I wrestled in high school. I wrestled in college.
You wrestled in college too? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay,
fact. I wrestled for your college, Pennsylvania.
Did you got a scholarship off that time?
Nah, it was a D3.
So okay. D3s don't give scholarships out. Oh, but that's cool though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a cool experience. I remember my first wrestling match, bro.
In college?
Yeah, my first wrestling match in college. It was against Kutztown University, and I remember walking on the mat, like feeling because I was that nigga in high school, like you know what I mean, like I was, you know what I mean, I was all right. So I remember walking on the mat, like not really feeling myself, but like this, like I'm not. I mean, I'm if I get pinned or if I lose, like I'm not gonna lose like no sucker. Like I'm not gonna lose like the last dude that you fought, right? So it's I guess it's one thing to lose in a minute, but it's one thing to just be like, you literally look like a deer in headlights, like, and that's not what I'm going to do, right? So I hop on the mat, and I remember shaking Buddy's hand. Like it's like baseball, you know, when, like the ritualism in baseball when you like when they walk up to the plate and stuff. Like it's the same thing. You get in the same mindset, do the same thing with your hands. You know what I mean? You might stretch, you might do like a squat or whatever. And I remember shaking Buddy's hand and looking up at the clock, and the first round was 3 minutes, and I was like. No, I'm used to them 2 minute periods. Yeah, the first round the first period in college is 3 minutes.
Dang,
and I just remember my whole soul
like
leaving
that
my
extra minute
body.
Is crazy.
Yo, yeah,
and it's too. I wrestled I only wrestled for like a year in high school like that. So I had like 2 of them. I wish I would have took wrestling more seriously. I think I had 3 wrestling masters and all.
Yeah,
I wish I would have took it more seriously.
I encourage everybody to put their kids in wrestling, boys, girls, it don't matter.
For real.
You have you. There's just so much. Like people always ask me, like bro, like how much you weigh? Like I weigh like 285 right now. Let's say 280, 285, and like bro, you can do a backflip. Yeah, because like I have the conceptualism of like body placement and like how, you know what I mean? Is it you just have like a different understanding of like your center of gravity and stuff like that. Granted, I was doing backflips before I wrestled. But I haven't just like an even better understanding of like hip placement, footwork. Right. Like wrestling made me a better football player. You know,
Word. Yeah. Because I think even the conditioning, because you got to be conditioned to be going full on for 2 minutes straight.
I wasn't really that conditioned. I'm not going.
You were just moving through motherfuckers.
First period, I get in and get out. I don't like to sweat that much. Yeah, headlock toss. Yo, ask any of my friends about me. Headlock toss, pin you. Headlock toss, pin you. Headlock toss. God. Yeah. If we make it to the second period and I'm down Granby roll, headlock toss, pin you.
Oh my God. So that's all you did through that.
Yo, yeah, I didn't have that many moves. I might if you look goofy, I'll hit you with a blast double. Or I'll do like a switch single. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like for the most part, either like a headlock toss or double over, which is like, you know, this is frowned upon. Double overhook to like to a hip toss, which like you give them your like because now they have the low control. Mm-hmm. I would like to let people think that they had control on me, so I do double overhook to a hip toss, like, and then you just
toss them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
What style did y'all?
What you say?
What style of wrestling did y'all do?
Scholastic. But I mean, like I trained in Greco-Roman and freestyle. And
that's
stuff,
what we did.
Yeah, I never competed in Greco and freestyle, but you take a little of this, take a little of that. Like I was an upper body wrestler. Mm-hmm. I would do like a little bit like ankle picks and stuff like that, but.
Nothing too serious.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Like I was very much an upper body wrestler.
You watched the fights this weekend?
Oh, absolutely.
What'd you think?
That was a card.
Man, that's probably the best. That's probably the best card I ever seen. Like I was generally like I watched the weigh-ins. I watched the face-off. We're talking about UFC 261. I watched the face-off. Everybody just seemed like they was just ready to go. Yeah, just locked in. Just so much animosity between a lot of. When I see that. I'm like, oh, these gonna be good fights because people gonna put their heart and soul.
I didn't think it was gonna be 6 finishes in a row.
That's like crazy.
The last 2 finishes, the last 2 fights, so 7. The last 2 fights in the undercard were finishes, and then the whole main card were all
finishes. One decision, right?
Nah.
Anthony Smith broke Buddy leg. Who was the second? Who was Chris Weidman broke his leg.
Yeah, Chris Weidman broke his leg.
Oh, yeah. Freaking Valentina went to TKO. Rose knocked her out, and then all of them were finishes.
All of them were
7 finishes. That's crazy.
All of them Jones were finishes. 5 on the main card, and the last 2 on the undercard were finishes.
Dang, that was crazy. Which one was the most exciting to you?
I would say the biggest,
the cleanest knockout.
Oh goddamn! What's her name? 11 from Stranger Things. Thug Rose. Thug Rose came, bro. I knew that shit was gonna happen. I felt it in my spirit.
I didn't know she was gonna knock her out. I thought it was gonna be a good. I thought it was gonna be a better striking.
I knew if she could stay outside like that, like that's all. If she could stay outside, play her game, stay like footwork,
like she did with Andrade.
Yeah,
she did that with Andrade. The first fight, she shouldn't have really lost to Andrade because she just got slammed, just like on some bad luck type shit on her head. But she was tagging Andrade that whole fight.
You wanna know what it is? Andrade is Vitor Belfort.
Oh yeah, like a little mini, just go through pressure.
Yeah. I'm gonna take because when I catch you, I'm gonna catch you.
Yeah.
So she's like Andrade will sacrifice that technique to make sure I catch you.
Yeah, and that's just not gonna work on certain like Valentina. That's not gonna work on her because she's gonna tag you.
Gonna tag it. Yo, her head movement, her foot placement is so like she does not sacrifice movement at all. Like every jab, she's cut, bang, bang. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She catch you. Make sure she's tucking her chin. Like every single thing, she does not sacrifice movement at all, and it's crazy to see.
Dang, bro. I think mine was, dang, goddamn, get it out. The most exciting one to me was Kamaru Usman. Because I literally dropped to the floor when I seen that.
Mink.
I was like, yo, because the sweat just flying off by everywhere.
I expected so. Bro, I don't know what I expected on that fight. Obviously, the safe bet would have been for Buddy to just wrestle him and shit. And then,
he's a complete martial artist.
Yeah.
Complete martial artist.
And he's proved that when he broke Kobe jaw. I wanted that to happen so bad.
You wanted to rock, bro?
I was like, bro.
I like Kobe though. He's
a
funny
fighter.
Guy.
I like him as a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like not break that nigga jaw.
Bro, how do you not like, bro? Like as a person that talks shit, I talk shit too.
Yeah.
So it's just like
I don't like nobody like me.
Okay. I like, bro, like when you see somebody, like the art of talking shit is just so hard. It's so hard, but just talking shit, like, see, he got a different type of talking shit and it's funny and it's entertaining. I love
Chael Sonnen though. Like,
I like Chael Sonnen too.
All wrestlers love wrestlers, right?
Right.
But like, I don't give a fuck if Chael Sonnen gonna win. He gonna give you that.
He gonna talk that shit.
Yeah, that's like some battle raps.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like he went like, I mean, it's not really PC today, but like when he was coming at Anderson Silva's masculinity, like why are you wearing that pink shirt, bro? Like, and he got in Vanderlei he had Vanderlei on the Ultimate Fighter looking dumb,
right?
Like why are you acting like why are you clapping in his man face?
Yeah,
like you just look just for you to get slammed on your head, like,
right?
For what?
Right.
So yeah, like I used to love watching Chael Sonnen just talk his shit.
I think the best. I don't know who's better, Chael Sonnen or Kobe, but Kobe has like the quickest comebacks, all that shit.
Yeah,
Kobe's a funny guy, bro.
Kobe might be the Theo Von of MMA.
Wow. Dang, yeah.
Like quick, he is quick.
He's quick with the roast. He's quick with just returning, and he can fucking fight too.
Yeah, he can bang.
Yeah, he can fight like no other. Like when he was giving Kamaru Usman.
He was
like a hard time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, because what you not going to wrestle Colby Covington. That's what you're not going to do.
Right.
So then you got to stand up with that man, and like that's not an easy task either. Right. So wait, who's your favorite fighter right now? Or not necessarily because everybody gonna say like John Jones is my favorite fighter.
Right.
But like who do you like watching right now?
I like this guy. This guy I'm really high on right now. He just lost, but his name's Sadiq Youssef. Mm-hmm. He can really fight.
Yeah,
he's a good fighter.
Yeah, okay.
What about you?
I like Justin Gaethje a lot.
Oh, you like that standing that?
Yeah, like and I respect bang. Like bro, like you wrestled at the highest level, Well, not Olympian, but you don't like. You can't take me down is what you knock on. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I love that, and I just love wrestlers that have heavy ass hands. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
He's coming through you.
Mm-hmm. The other dude I like right now, damn, he just made a comeback at the. Oh, I can see his face right now. He had that at that walk-off home run. Like he's dropped all the way down, and Court Buddy.
Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah. Garbrandt.
Oh yeah, I like Garbrandt too. Yeah. He got some hands on him.
He might have the fastest hands in the UFC.
He do.
Fastest hand.
Crazy fast.
Until TJ Dillashaw come back, but we don't know what that's gonna look like when you're off the picograms.
Yeah, we're gonna see what he talk about, bro. So I always like to end the conversation off with something positive, right?
Right.
And so what would you tell your kids now that you have in school? Just give them some words of advice for growing up in life.
It's Mr. Hood. Don't do anything Mr. Hood would have done when I was your age. That's like my kids be like, yo, Mr. Hood is bad. He be putting us in headlocks and all that stuff. Like
that's what you need, like some like an interactive like person in your life when you talk and in the school. Like you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, so and there's people who try and come behind me and try and take like my level of like interaction, and then when kids like cut on them, like say something, oh, what kind of shoes you wearing today? Like you want to take their recess, but you just ripped on them yesterday,
right?
So like now, like I'm fair game, you fair game, like bro, like be positive. Like I want to send a definite shout out to my homie Erica. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, like one of my kids from school got shot.
Oh man.
So his aunt works at my school. That's like one of my people. You know what I mean? So situation where, her brother, which is the kid's dad, he lost his life. But there's a silver lining in it where, this little kid got shot in his chest and his dad got lit up, I'm not trying to be facetious. But his dad lived all the way to the hospital, and the doctors were saying we don't understand how he should have bled out. But like he was trying to make sure his son got to the hospital and was going to live before he tap out. Like that's his last, and like that really spoke to me. Like at the end of the day, like I'm gonna take my last breath for the people that I care for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all my kids at work. Like I'm the safety liaison at my school, so like I'm the person who trains everybody on like active shooting incidents and stuff like that.
Right.
And like I take that very seriously. So like so I want to give Erica a well wish, even if she doesn't see this. I do believe that your rate of speech holds moral weight in the universe. You know what I mean? Nice. And I just wanted to speak some positivity into her.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you for coming down from Jersey.
Sure.
Fucking with me, fucking with the Push It Fed podcast, brother. Hey, Push It Fed podcast, we out, man. It's D Hood.
Hey.